Yeah, so do that.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Roleplay. We are playing the beginning of a short, hopefully only two-part section. Not two, hopefully because we think it's going to be bad, hopefully because it's only designed to be two parts. Campaign called the City of Mobius that Bleo's been planning for quite a while now. And just because I literally just realized this while trying to look for an image to use for the City of Mobius's intro, this is not the City of Mobius as appears in the Sonic comics. This is the city of... Shut up. This is
Blue streak.
Shut up. Shut up. This is the
Sonic the Hedgehog.
This is the City of Mobius.
Too fast for the naked eye.
This is the
Sonic
City of
the Hedgehog.
This is the City of Mobius as a totally independent place that has been created entirely from the imagination of our GM Bleel. We were going to have a number of more players, but unfortunately Winter is off doing stuff for play. Morath is taking an impromptu meeting, and Zombie Cam is, of course, still microphoneless, which is why he hasn't been around for a while. But it's cool because we're going to try and do the first session with just me and Colonel DeFrog with GM, with Belil as our GM.
Yeah, so it's not probably not going to be a super long thing because, you know.
Yeah, but that's fine. We're going to do our best. Yeah. We're going to see if we can get the first half of this taken care of, or at the very least...
Do your best, do it every day. I can.
And then, hopefully, we will, next week, wrap this up with more people than just us two, or if it turns out that it's not the case, the two of us will continue the City of Mobius and fucking finish it.
You'll probably finish it.
Yeah. So in that case, then let us introduce our actual living, breathing, fucking hero players. Colonel DeFrog.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Yo.
And our Bleel,
Yo.
our GM Bleel.
Hi. And then obviously you know Duhad.
And you know me. I am your host and not GM, Duhad. Bleel, take it away.
All right. So, I guess we should start by introducing your characters.
Okay.
At least in basic.
Sure. You want to introduce us once things had actually started, or if you want us to introduce them as they exist?
Let's do a basic thing now, and then when your characters actually, when we actually start, then you guys can flesh out your characters more to each other.
That's fair. Okay, well, I am playing as Dr. Cassandra Thorne, Doc Thorne, who you might remember from... never mind, that game never went live because of problems, but it is actually a recurring character from a different game, though it's not the exact same person. But Doc Thorne is a human... as everyone is in this game. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. She is a scientist, a thinker, pacifist, and a deep believer in the basic decency of humanity. And she is...
So a hippie.
Yes. Hippie. Yes. Basically, you would like she's from a time well before hippies were.
I told you not to make fucking hippies for this game. No,
like she comes from a time long before the hippie movement had started, but by today's standards, she would be considered to be a hippie. And then
when is she from?
She is from like the late Victorian era.
Okay.
Yes.
But she talks like she isn't because I don't want to fucking do a Victorian London accent because oh my, let's do the Victorian. No.
Most unorthodox.
Yeah, no, it's too easy to make that a parody, and I don't really want to do like an elaborate voice.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So DeFrog.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I am playing Warrant Officer Alfred Shockley. He is from the 1970s. He is quick. He is fearless. He has a strong back. He's wealthy. He's also got a bit of an anger problem. He is a scout pilot in the Vietnam War, flies helicopters and goes out searching for people who then shoot back at him and calls in fire upon them. He is not a hippie.
He's the opposite, anti-hippie.
Oh, actually, he was a rich guy who decided to dodge the draft not by going to, college like he could have, but instead by joining up with helicopter aviation in the Army, and then decided, once he was actually in country, that this was a bad idea. So he's kind of...
Okay, that makes sense.
So I forgot to. So I should mention we are using for this game the low gravity system, though we are obviously
which is available via our
the links
Patreon.
below on Patreon for a single $1. We are not using the Ragamuffin setting, so everyone's a human being. We're not in space times and whatever, but. The system is the same, and I actually forgot to write down my personal goals and personal flaws. But just to quickly, explain those, as I kind of implied, her personal goal is she is curious and investigative and wants to explore the city of Mobius and learn as many of its secrets as she can. And her personal fault is that she's a pacifist. She refuses to engage in violence and has a deep and abiding trust in the essential decency in other people. She isn't totally foolishly trusting of others, but always believes that there is a core of decency in everyone, even if they probably don't deserve that level of sympathy or understanding.
Mm-hmm. Nice. DeFrog, did you make a fault in the goal for your character?
I did not. Mostly because with the goal, I didn't have a particularly good idea of exactly what's going on.
That's fair.
Fault, though, is... Yeah. It honestly makes a lot of sense, given this character, that it might be something along the lines of people are bastard-coated bastards with bastard filling and little bastard sprinkles on top, and that's how I view them.
Rad. Well, those won't come in to play too heavily, because this is obviously like a two-shotter. But
hey, it's nice
obviously,
to have the
it's always nice to have them. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's dive right in then.
All right. Well, so you two start to wake up as you feel a sort of light on your in your eyes. You find yourselves in one of those weird trolleys, like one of the larger ones that you take up and down mountains typically when you go skiing.
Skiing, yes.
There are a few unconscious people there around you that you don't recognize whatsoever. You have no idea how you got here, and
They have the words AFK floating over their heads for some reason.
Yeah, totally. That's what they say. That's what it is. You look in the corner and it says Sword Art Online chat disabled. No.
I was gonna say it's like there's the player names are over their heads, like Winter and Zombie Cannon.
Balls Deep 69.
And Morath and just over the thing is AFK character not yet loaded.
Yeah. Yeah. You look out of the window and you see what looks to be weird, oddly misshapen metal structures, almost like someone had just taken a bunch of modern art structure, modern art, and just dumped them here. And you find yourself going forward and down as if you're going down in a slope. But in between each of the cracks of these, you can see some light peering through, and what looks to be silhouettes of maybe buildings. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put on some music in the background as we go. But yeah, as Doc Thorne gets up and kind of starts to shake the haze off, she.
Oh, also put your names in the chat. Yes.
Oh yes, of course. Thorne. I might misspell it if I do. It's supposed to be Dr. Thorne. Dr. Thorne stands up and is she looks around and is, sees the only other awake person, and says, "Excuse me, sir. Do you know where we are?" I seem to have misplaced.
Looks out the window. Funny, I don't remember drinking
Uh,
or anything else.
she looks at you kind of.
Are we in our normal clothing?
Yes, you are in. Yeah.
Okay.
You are in your normal clothing.
Okay. Yeah, Dark Thorn, seeing your clothing, actually starts looking a little bit more interested and is like, oh, your dress, your clothing. Tell me, sir, where did you come from? You look like a military man.
Yeah. Where the hell did you come from?
She looks down herself and then shrugs. Well, I usually am in Shropshire, but I was in London for a meeting. But you're
London.
Yeah, London. You're
Okay, what the fuck?
She looks at you like,
At this, Alfred gets up and starts looking out the windows.
I don't recognize your accent. Are you a colonialist?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does
No,
Alfred
no,
see anything?
I don't do any colonizing.
Alfred sees basically the same thing. It does get darker as you guys are making your way further down.
All right. Yeah. So she's like, but the way you talk and the way you dress, it's very different from any military man I've ever met, and I must say you don't talk like an Englishman.
Because I'm not.
Where are you from? And well, I suppose you don't know what you're doing here any more than I do, but do you?
I'm from Montana.
Montana. And where is that? What province is that?
Are you?
She kind of like huffs a little bit. You know, I'm actually quite intelligent, so I'll have you know. I may be a woman.
And how do you not know about the United States?
United States.
Motherfucking America.
Oh, so you're an American?
Yes, like the flag patch didn't give it away.
And she looks at the flag. Oh, I didn't realize they'd changed their flag. I rather like that circle. She kind of looks at the thing. Wow, you've added so many more stars as well.
Yeah, as you start walking
Yeah,
across
saved your asses in 2 world wars too.
As you continue to walk across, the weight of the trolley is shifts a bit, and you can hear like an odd creaking of metal.
Yeah, she actually. I did my basically. She's from like the turn of the century, not necessarily like specifically Victorian era, but yeah, she. As the thing starts to, as we hear the sound, she looks around for the source of it. And
yeah, it's coming from up, obviously.
Okay, yeah. So she looks up and says, not to change the subject, but do you have any idea how we might be able to get out of this strange contraption?
I'm gonna go ahead and look around. Are there any likely escape hatches or doors?
Well, it looks like what would normally be doors, but if you work at them, they seem to be ones that are kind of mechanically closed, almost as if you were in. I can't remember what time period Alfred's from, but if like bullet trains or subway trains.
He's from the Vietnam War.
Okay, yeah. Then they're a lot like the subway trains, where they'll close and stay mostly sealed. However, if you you imagine if you pushed hard enough on it, it would probably open.
Okay. Is there like a maintenance hatch on the top?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Well, there's the doors. He points at them right there. Or there's the maintenance hatch right there.
Well,
Considering that I'm pretty sure we're in a cable car, I don't know if you want to step out at the moment.
She looks out the window. Yes, we do seem to be rather high in the air.
Yeah.
Not
Right now,
really.
it doesn't seem to be as high as you'd think. Since you've been going, seems to be on a downward slant this entire time. It is probably a fall you don't want to make, but
yeah. Well, she's like, yes, no, that
you
looks
can
high.
now
enough.
see a floor.
Yeah.
You can see a floor that is probably like 40 feet below you.
Yeah, well,
So-
for her, it's still like, yeah, no, like this is a distance I don't want to, even consider jumping from. So it's still rather high up.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, this place. You say you don't have any idea where it is? You have no memories yourself of it? Of how you got here?
I went to sleep in my hooch and I woke up here.
I see. She pats down her dress and kind of mutters to herself, "Damn it! Never have a notebook when I need one."
Yeah.
And she says, "Now listen, I may be entirely off base with this, but I might have a theory as to where we might be.
Oh, this will be.
Well, have you ever heard of the work of Dr. I'm just gonna make up a fucking. This isn't like a real person at all. I'm just like making some bullshit up. Just like, you ever heard of the work of Dr. Cicero?
Cicero.
No.
Does someone actually say that, or is that just you being?
No. That just reminds me of the Skyrim PC. Cicero. Oh, the listener is back.
Oh God. She says, well, he's an Italian gentleman, and he has some very interesting theories about astral projection, the ability to travel through dreams, and to send your spirit out to find other.
Sounds like hippie shit.
I suppose it might seem unorthodox. It certainly is not the sort of thing that one brings up in polite conversation, but considering where we are, it would not be entirely far-fetched to imagine that this might be something related to it. I personally have been trying my hand at the concept, though it is admittedly very strange, and I've never had any sort of success in the past.
Yeah, there's probably a reason for that.
Well, if you're going to be rude about it, I suppose we can just go and ask one of the locals and find out where we are exactly.
Yeah. Considering that they're kind of kicks at the feet of one of the a little bit asleep at the moment.
Yes, we might want to find someone who's a little more aware to assist us.
Yeah. At that, a speaker chimes in with one of those sort of voices that, again, in like the subway, go,
"No, approaching your stop."
Oh, isn't that clever? She waits for the she's
At
like,
this, Alfred just gives her a look.
yeah.
Bit like it's a bit like Alexander Graham Bell's telephone, isn't it? Just used for public announcements.
When are you from?
The the year yeah, she's like the current year 1898.
No.
Excuse me.
1971.
That's impossible. That's hundreds of years away. Hundreds of years. That's dozens of years, into the future. That'd be quite impossible.
The trolley straightens out as it seems to be approaching a dock. Outside of the windows, rather than the long drop or any of the odd architecture, you're now inside of a very clean looking, kind of yellowy lighted building interior that kind of looks like a subway stop. I love how I'm using a subway all the time.
It's a metaphor. Well, it's
very accurate.
Fair enough. Yeah. So when the doors open, Doc Thorne very carefully steps out, being careful to mind the gap, as she is want to risk the thing lurching forward and dropping her in between the big metal box and the platform.
As you exit, there's a staff member that's waiting right there.
Are the staff members? How are they dressed? What do they look like?
These ones seem to be dressed kind of like stewardesses.
Okay, like airline stewardesses.
Yes.
From the present day or classic?
Probably around 1950s.
Okay, so like kind of one piece short skirt, little pillbox hat, and a scarf, like a ascot.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can probably make me a senses roll.
Will do.
Does notice?
Notice can work.
Count on this?
Yes, you can add notice.
I should have pulled out my dice, but luckily I have an app on my phone, so...
Gosh.
29.
29, alright.
Hold on just one moment. Plus that equals 21 total.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, you both pass. What you notice is that the stewardesses... I probably shouldn't say stewardesses because there's both male and female there.
Alright.
There's just a couple of them. You can tell that their eyes are pretty tired, but they have a very large grin, as if, kind of like in service work or in retail work where you have to force a smile.
Yeah, Dr. looks scandalized but intrigued by the fact that the female stewardess is not covering up her shins and most of her lower legs. This is kind of fucking crazy to her. And she's like, oh, okay. She's not going oh, gracious me, but she's like, wow, this is really weird. She looks at she kind of looks at the woman a lot more closely than the man.
Goes ahead and walks off.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Which one do you ask, or do you just
he just asked it generally to them?
The male stewardess chimes in. Well, you're in the City of Mobius. You seem to be a part of the newest batch, though.
Do you have a notebook?
A notebook?
Yes, and a pen if you have one.
It's a small store over there if you're planning on getting writing stuff, but...
I would very much appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay.
Hold on. Don't say anything else important until I've got a notebook. Hold on. Runs off towards the store.
Alfred just turns to him. Okay, you've given me the name of this place. What is this place?
I don't know, really. He kind of leans in. Oh well. To be honest, all of us have kind of found ourselves here. We don't really know where this place is.
Kate, up here.
Yeah. We kind of have a system here. Though, which is after your friend gets her notebook or whatever, we typically assign a person a job and also assign them a place in the hotel over there. If you he looks around and then a few feet next to him, he grabs a thing and is like, this is a map of Mobius. you can use this to navigate. Typically, you usually want to go to the Dota hotel right there and get yourselves some rooms. We'll help take care of...
Anyone ever left?
Not sure. Yeah.
So probably no.
Yeah, you can probably bet on that. Though, I just kind of work here to introduce people. I'm not really too informed on anything.
Assuming there's
at being told that no one leaves, Alfred actually smiles. Can't be worse than not.
Unless I have trouble getting the pen, I probably come.
Oh no, it was super easy.
Yeah, they come running back at this point. With the pen. Are these like more modern pens or like classic?
Oh yeah,
pens?
they're more modern pens.
Yeah,
they're like plastic pens, but yeah.
So she comes back, but she's kind of like examining the pen as she jogs towards you. And then.
And by the way, Alfred actually takes a pen out of the jacket on his flight suit and starts writing on the map. Just notes about different places.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Do you have any more questions?
Yes. Actually, I have a question.
All right.
This place, and to me, like she asks a few questions that you've already answered and gets those responses, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. She then goes, interesting, fascinating. So I have a question. If no one ever leaves here, as far as you know, and new arrivals come in every now and then, are we dead?
I never thought of it like that.
It's just, this is a little bit similar to how I imagine Purgatory might look, and if we're just showing up here out of the blue and in a cart full of strange people, alongside a military man who, very likely could have died at any moment, it would make sense that we are all dead, and this is Purgatory.
The look on his face gives you a sense that he's having a existential crisis.
Yeah, and she's like super like not at all concerned by this idea. She's just like, "Ooh, this is interesting. What about this hypothesis?" And like as she's like having crisis, just starts writing down things like might be purgatory, not sure. Like locals seem to not have given this much thought. Must investigate.
The female stewardess chimes in while the male one's still just standing there completely like, yeah. Well, any more questions that don't regard whether or not this is death?
Well, I suppose. How many people do you think live in this area?
Well, at least 100, really.
100? It's a bit small for Purgatory, but I suppose it's possible that we're not dead. Good lookout for all of us if it's true.
Yeah.
Upon hearing at least 100, he's going to look back in the trolley and count up how many people are still unconscious in it.
I have to think of how many more players.
Let's assume that Winter and...
It's about 3.
Yeah.
About 3. About 3 more people.
3?
Yeah.
How does the load come in?
Well, they come in every... Well... It's hard to judge time here, but, probably about every month or 2. I mean, it really depends on where in Mobius you are, but
does the sun rise and set here like in a normal place? What makes it so difficult to tell time?
Well, the sun rises and sets at different rates depending on where you're standing.
Fascinating. And so why not try telling time by the frequency of the arrival of new loads, or do they come in at random intervals?
They seem to be a bit random, but it doesn't really mind. We're supposed to stand here anyways for the most part. So
Fascinating. And when you first arrived here, was there someone else who had this job before you?
yeah, it seems to cycle.
I see.
Like he said over there, we kind of just cycle through jobs a bit.
Do you know who the older residents of this area might be? The people who've been here the longest?
I mean, there's the mayor.
The mayor. Yes. That would be someone to talk to. Where does the mayor live?
Well, he lives in the on the top floor of the Delta Hotel. Though, he kind of goes in and out through a bunch of the other buildings. He really likes interacting with the citizens around
That's
here.
wonderful. How can we make an appointment with the mayor?
I don't know.
Well, I don't want to seem presumptuous by just going in and saying hello, and I imagine it might seem a bit scandalous for an unaccompanied woman to go and just barge into his office, but I'd really like to have a word with him.
I mean, just go up and talk to him, I guess.
Really? You think that'll be okay?
I mean, except for the time when he's in the STEM building. It's on the map that I imagine Alfred is still taking notes on.
I see. So we
at this point, he's actually folded it up and put it in his kneeboard pocket.
Okay. But, yeah.
Yeah, I look over at Alfred and say, "Sir, would you mind accompanying me to see the mayor? I imagine that even if you don't share my fascination with this place, he would be a useful individual to talk to in order to get a better understanding of what is going on."
You don't want to see the Wizard of Oz instead?
I've not realized that there was a wizard here. Is there something I wasn't informed about?
At that, he actually turns to the male stewardess. Do people die here?
Yes. Though
Probably
rarely.
not dead, then.
Yeah.
Well, that would seem to imply that the purgatory option, explanation is straight out. If people are able to die here, it would hardly be an afterlife, now would it?
It's it's a bit weird of an answer.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I'll just have to ask the mayor.
All right. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Before you go,
we should know.
Well, I was about to give you your introductory credits. It's sort of the money system here until you get assigned a job. We sort of give you a set amount at the beginning. Each of you start with 10 credits, and
15.
What?
You have the you have a.
Oh,
15,
you have
independently wealthy.
We'll say that he accidentally gives you extra. And you can use it at really any of the shops or for any service really around here. It's pretty communist here, so I don't know.
Does she actually say communist?
Oh, this one's the guy. You were asking the guy. Yeah, he says.
Does the guy actually say communist?
Yeah.
Fuck. Wait, when are you from?
1988. Some more scribbling notes. Imagine making like a timeline and like marking down where each person is from.
Really? Are you?
Yeah.
He's gonna look back and he's going to set his mind. Did we win?
Win what?
The war against
Which
the
one?
Rusties.
Oh,
What do you mean, which one?
I mean, oh wait, you mean the Vietnam War?
Sure, why not? What happened in Nam?
Oh well, I mean, we kind of had to pull out.
Fuck you, McNamara. Fuck you.
He's just a bit uncomfortable.
Oh man, it's just like my grandpa. It's just like my dad.
Pig fucking worthless. He's going for a while. You said that there were other wars. What other wars?
Well, not really much, but when I was there, we were kind of in the Cold War, I guess is what people were calling it, but you know.
Cold War, eh?
Yeah, Reagan was talking a bunch of.
Was this
stuff.
one also fought against the Russians? Was it because you were fighting in the cold?
Well, it's called the Cold War because it wasn't live. There wasn't any combat. It was just kind of. I mean, you'll stop laughing when you realize why.
Bullshit.
Well,
so you're saying the
had
American colonies are eventually run by an actor, though?
what?
Well,
An actor?
he said that this the president of the United States was an actor of some sort.
I mean, yeah, Reagan was an actor. In my opinion, not particularly a good one, but yeah. I mean, the reason why it was a Cold War, I feel like you're gonna stop laughing once you learn, is because we were, the Russia and or Soviet Union. I need to use appropriate language, guys. The Soviet Union and America just had a bunch of nukes pointed at each other.
Is that a weapon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Fascinating. So America eventually becomes a superpower.
So big it'll kill a city.
So why would Russia and America fight each other? They're sort of on other sides of the planet. Was it over the Orient?
Sure, why not?
I'm getting a bit uncomfortable with this.
Fair enough. Well, I really should talk to the mayor, but thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, no problem. I imagine you both walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You exit the building, and you're lined in these very bright and colorful streets. I need to look at the map that I have.
Okay, fair enough.
From the area you're at, it seems to be early morning. About in front of you, there are a couple of long rectangular buildings, all with a bunch of the stores in them. And in front of you, it's kind of like a zoo sign or a SeaWorld, where they have the sort of they have an arrow pointing to some of the main buildings.
Okay,
So and based on that, and also the map that you have, you can guess that right in front of you is the store area, and then if you start heading right, you'll eventually reach the Delta building.
Fascinating. Well, I would really like to see the mayor, and he's over there in the hotel. Is there anything you need to do first, though, sir?
Probably not. Let's get going.
All right, let's go. I lead the way towards the big Delta building, the big Delta hotel.
Yes. You walk and you occasionally see, a couple of people. There aren't really that many, and pretty much every one of them are in some kind of clothing that's like a worker clothes. On your right, you can see what seems to be kind of some deep, thick jungle, and on your left, you can begin to see a large, basically waterous fountain area with a large arch over it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, is there any sort of like door guards or anything like hotel doorman or anything?
It's not really doorman, but you see some weird marshmallow-looking people, kind of like the Michelin Man.
Huh. Okay.
Just sort of occasionally strewn throughout. There aren't too many of them, but you can guess that they might be some kind of guards.
Thorn is going to like walk over and start looking at them. And, like, assuming they don't, like, react violently, she's going to start drawing pictures of them in her sketchbook.
Yeah, they don't act violently against you.
Yeah. As she's sketching, she asks, "Excuse me, do you work here?"
Are you asking one of the
blobs,
guards?
yes.
Oh. It just looks down at you. It doesn't have a mouth.
Yeah.
It just seems to have these sort of featureless eyes. And but one detail you notice is that what looks to be sort of their skin or armor, whatever it is, it sort of shifts around, almost as if it's kind of like a waterbed, and it just sort of moves a bit.
Yeah. If it doesn't respond, she follows up with, "Are you capable of speech?"
It just sits there again, quietly.
Are you nod if you want to say yes, shake your head if you say no. Are you human?
It doesn't respond.
All right, well, thank you for your time. And she then walks over to the door. Alfred, come on, we have to see the mayor. The wonderful mayor of Mobius.
He walks afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I should probably add. In front of you, you can see a large pyramid-shaped building.
All right. So assuming this is.
By the way, when we've been walking through the city, heard or seen people about?
Oh yeah, I said that there are a couple of people, but based on what the guy said, and what seems to be accurate from what you see, a lot of them are dressed in what seems to be like workers' uniforms of assorted occupations, and yeah, but it seems fairly empty.
Have I heard any English? Have I heard any language other than English?
No, you have not. You've not heard anything other than English so far.
Yeah, Thorn.
A sketchbook.
Oh, yes? And it's Dr. Thorn, if you'd be so kind.
You ever notice that we've only heard English here?
I had noticed that, though I sort of assumed that if we've been brought here, it's because it's a location for, English-speaking people. That, those speaking French or German or one of the other languages would probably go to some similar section of the city that is designated for them. Though it is interesting, now that I think of it, that whoever put this place together must have been intelligent enough to, segregate areas to better accommodate the residents. I wonder if our companions are, also English or colonialists.
I love that you use colonialists.
Thank you.
It's the best.
Brits, get over the fact you don't rule the world anymore.
Well, the Empire is still quite strong in our time, though I suppose when you...
No, it isn't.
Oh, well, that's
It
disappointing.
really isn't.
Though I have something I've actually been meaning to ask you about. With the, it seems that a lot of the people here, the women dress very similarly to that of the men. Do women eventually gain respect and equal treatment in society? She asked someone from the 60s. She frowns and makes another note in her
it's better than in your time.
Right, well, that's something, I guess.
Oh, nothing's better than that. That's the best thing.
Oh Lord! So yeah, she opens up the door and the doors to the hotel and walks in a little bit more glum than before.
Unlike before, there's actually people here. There's at least more people than there was outside. Yeah.
Interesting. We go up to the I go up to the front desk, and is there anyone behind the counter?
Oh yeah, there's a woman with red hair.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes.
I'm looking to speak to the mayor. Is he in?
Not sure. Let's see. She's like typing on a computer. Obviously, something that you would not have any knowledge of. In fact, none of you would probably have knowledge of a computer, a personal computer.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a very odd typewriter you have there.
Typewriter?
Oh yes, you have a keyboard there, so I imagine this is a new type of typewriter, probably invented.
Oh, you're one of those time period people. Okay.
Yes. We are from. I am from a time when typewriters have been invented. I know that I'm apparently a bit behind the times compared to other people, but I'm not a total primitive.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Well, we're gonna need to get some information before I get you your key if you're new here.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I guess. First things first, since you brought up the topic. What are both of you? What time period are you from?
I'll let Alfred go first.
71.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, are you a couple?
Oh my goodness! How dare you?
No, as far as I can tell, she's from.
I'm from
1800s or something.
Yeah, from 1892. No, 1898. Sorry, 1898.
Oh well. Okay. Then I'll have to open up another tab. Oh gosh.
Can't believe this.
Something like that.
Manners apparently went out of fashion sometime between now and when you're from.
Anyway, all right. Ages.
So did that dress.
Ooh.
Excuse yourself, sir. And I am
Inspired.
Yeah. And she says, I'm again very bit forward of you, but I'm currently.
Don't worry, you'd fit in at the Renaissance Festival.
Excuse you. I'm from the 18th century, not the Renaissance. Like the late 18th century, not the Renaissance.
Yeah, that doesn't matter to the geeks.
At any rate, I am. Wait, God, that would still been considered like a weird racist term. But she says, I'm 27.
Yeah. Okay. She begins typing. All right. And you, sir? What about you?
22.
22. All right. Okay. All right. Prior occupation, if any?
Well, I'm still currently a professor, a doctor, in fact.
Okay. We don't get too many doctors around here.
I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of theoretical psychology, the criminology and psychology.
Great, a shrink.
say I know it's a yes. Yes, I certainly hope that by your time we have the study of dream interpretation and categorization has gained a little more respect than it had in my time.
Yeah.
Well, they've moved on from that. They drop acid and then try and figure out what the hell's going on.
I see. Well.
Oh boy, I love that the two players that showed up today are playing characters that are time period racist. That's great. Oh.
I'll be honest at this point. It's most.
You're cutting off really badly.
At this point, Alfred is mostly messing with her.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And
being fair, in the 70s, psychology does have a bit of a dark view.
That is
very true. Yeah.
That's very true. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you, sir, what's your occupation?
Scout, helo pilot in the U.S. Army.
All right. Good. All right. Good. We get a lot of Americans, so at least you'll be able to talk to them. A lot.
Are there many non-English speakers here?
Well, most of the people that are here speak multiple languages, or at least learn to.
But the primary language of most of the residents?
Mostly English.
Interesting. But it is not a universal language.
No, not the universal one. Some of them speak Brazilian. There's a couple of people that speak
Portuguese.
Japanese. What? Oh, well, yeah.
Brazil's primary language is Portuguese.
It's fine. Let's just say they said Portuguese.
Yeah. Well, we'll assume that is the case.
Yeah. Just, yeah.
Fascinating.
One speaks Russian.
Oh. I've dabbled in Russian myself.
Yeah, she works over in the Clifford Entertainment Center, but yeah.
Might have to take the opportunity to introduce myself at some point, though for the time being, I'm afraid I really must insist on trying to meet the mayor as soon as possible. I have pressing questions for him.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, were you both in the same group?
Yes. Our companions were unfortunately tired and were unable to join us. But
good.
We came in together.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna. That's important information because typically here we assign rooms based off of group.
Separate rooms based on group, I assume.
There were 3 more.
Well, no. To be as efficient as possible, we kind of group people together. Don't worry, they're not small rooms.
I hope they're at the very least. You're at least separating, the sexes.
No.
She turns bright red. You can't seriously expect. You wouldn't put a lady in a room with a strange man. I just met him.
I'm sure you can handle yourself.
That's not the point. What will people think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm from the 1990s, but
do people in the 1990s just casually have men and women spending time together in compromising situations without anyone thinking it's strange?
Yes.
Oh, that's very progressive of you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I went to a high school where everyone was there, and they seemed fine enough. But
well, that's very heartening.
Yeah. Anyway, do you have any questions for?
No. I suppose the only other thing I really would like to know about is whether or not you can tell us what the when we might be given assignments to find work here.
Typically it takes I guess 24 hours she puts in quotation marks.
Fair enough.
We have multiple clocks. And they seem to each have different. There seems to be like 5 different clocks on the wall, each of which going at different rates.
Yeah, Thorn's just staring at those now, just like, oh, wow.
At that point, Alfred is going to take a look at his watch and see if it matches up to any of them.
It matches up with one of them. That one you can tell is marked by Mobius outskirts. Since each of them have different names, one of them is Center. Then there's, a few other stages about there. If you look on your map, there's also like outlines on the city from where going from the center outward for each of the different time zones.
Huh. Yeah, Thorn actually takes out her own pocket watch as well, and checks it and compares it with Alfred's watch.
I mean, obviously it's going at the same rate, but yours is obviously ahead.
Yeah.
Sword, because you're from England.
Yes. Yeah. Fascinating. Simply fascinating. I'll actually resync it to his.
Difference in the speed of the clocks. The speed of the clocks. Is it random, or is there a scale?
There's a scale, I guess.
Okay. Does things get faster as they go closer to the center, or slower as they get closer to the center?
They get faster as you get away from the center, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's weird. From the few doctors that we've had in here, we've gotten a weird regulation. I mean, I've only been here for a couple of years, I guess. But yeah.
Interesting. Right. Well, I suppose we won't keep you waiting any longer.
Here's your keys, by the way.
Thank you.
I'll keep an eye out for your next group.
Yes, please do. I hope they're fine. But yes, to the mayor.
Yeah. You,
Alfred?
A
finger. Is that normal for not everyone to be awake?
Yeah, it occasionally happens. Don't know why or what it is, but sometimes they just don't wake up for some time. Sometimes they don't wake up at all. But yeah.
That's somewhat ominous.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, you run along.
Right. Righto. Well, shall we off then?
Yeah. You walk through to the hallway, and this is a fucking long ass hallway. This pyramid is fucking huge. It's a weirdly set up place. You get the feeling that you were only on the outside, and that there were a lot more rooms than you thought there would be. And one of the things along your while you're walking through, hoping to find some kind of elevator, obviously, probably, or stairs or anything like that. Probably stairs, since your character doesn't know what an elevator is.
That's entirely fair, yeah. Actually, we'll why don't we find a good place to stop for a minute, and we'll take our first break.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
All right, well,
I mean, now is a good time.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, we're going to take a short break. For those of you watching on YouTube, we will see you guys in the next part, which will probably be uploaded tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you very, very soon.